scores. The penalty has expired, and the teams will have the full complement of players.
Arlington's killed 3 penalties in a row against this Winthrop club.
Well, Norwood killed a few of them the other night. Now then Collins comes out with Lyons. There's Lyons taking the pass to drive, and it's wide of the target. Ofria trying to tie up Burke ahead to McDonald. It was too far for his outstretched stick. And DiCaprio is back in his own zone. The diminutive defenseman starts out gingerly at center, just takes a long shot that hits Tate's back and went into the corner. Winthrop a bit disorganized now as Tate goes in behind the net. Ofria rubs him off the play. A centering pass in the slot. Diaz can't find the handle. They're all around the net, and it's skated off by Bacchius. Here's Bacchius turning to the fence and on goal. A shot, and Colbert makes the save. 2 excellent scoring opportunities. One for Arlington as they had Diaz out of the play, and then Bacchius brought it back and nearly lit the lamp for Winthrop.
This game's coming to you from the Boston Garden.
Have a special event on the calendar?
Carroll has scored for Winthrop. Brian O'Connor has scored for Arlington. It's a 1-1 hockey game, and Arlington have been able to thwart the Winthrop power play, and that's been the key of the game so far. Also, the great goaltending of Mark Colbert.
Paul Bacchius, the junior, 5'11", 165. He's playing in this game with a partial separated shoulder, Darby. He exhibited tremendous acceleration there as he tested Colbert about 30 seconds ago.
Now then, Lavery is out there with big Paul Eichelroth. Eichelroth at 6'2", comes in for a backhander that's wide. Cameron tries to get it out in front of the net. Masterson back there to help out his defensive core. Galogli along the left side squirts it out the center and down the length of the ice. I don't think it has the impetus to make it over the line, however. No icing. Collins reverses direction there for Arlington. He's being harassed by Jackie Bergman, but gets it to center. Arlington, I look to change in the fly as they send Brian Burns back out there now with Tony Missouri. Burns intercepts the center ice, pins it right to the boards there with Galogli, and they tie it up for face-off.
Quite amazingly heavy hitting that Winthrop's been doing that they haven't been called for a penalty yet during the entire game. 3 penalties to Arlington, and Winthrop has yet to be penalized. It'll be interesting to see what Arlington can do if they get that man advantage.
Especially on that last flurry in front of Diaz. I thought for sure we'd have an interference call, but Winthrop finally gobbled up the puck and got it to center ice.
Bobby McDonald with Burke and Joe McDonald are out there. They come in over the line. Missouri, the pair of 12s in the corner. Bobby McDonald squirts it in behind the net. Now then O'Connor has it for Arlington, the Missouri, and he's a speedster. Let's go, a scintillating blast, and Diaz made the save. Now Arlington setting up. DiCaprio at the point, in the slot, and it's knocked out by Goddard. They get another shot, and that one's wide by DiCaprio. Arlington with the heat here. DiCaprio at the point, lost it, out for Joey McDonald. Over for Burke, he's coming in on goal! Oh, what a save by Colbert! That's the 3rd time in the game that he has denied Jackie Burke of a goal.
Well, I don't know if he's going to make a career out of thwarting Mr. Burke, but as you mentioned, the 3rd occasion. And that time it was Joey McDonald, ever persistent, threading a needle point pass over on the right side as he hit the line.
Unbelievable. He just passed it right between 2 Arlington defenders, right to the man going right into the goal. And a great save by Colbert, who has been a difference so far for Arlington.
I'd have to agree.
You mentioned lines, Lance. This line of the McDonald brothers and Burke, they pass better than any line I can remember in high school hockey. Although maybe that lines of Hughes, Fiddler, and Goodwin had a little more talent individually. But as a unit, this troika of the McDonald boys and Burke is unmatched, in my opinion. Now then at center, Ofria has it over the line. A high-rise shot in behind the Winthrop cage. Galogli falls down on it. Keating is there. He patrols his wing diligently. That's David Keating. It's shot down the length of the ice. Collins races back after it, and icing the call against Winthrop.
McDonald has scored for Winthrop, O'Connor for Arlington, and this is the Eastern Mass Tournament from the Boston Garden.
When you have something...
45 seconds left here in the second period. 1-1 in the semifinal bout between Winthrop and Arlington. Got it. He's been there. A shot. Oh, and Colbert makes another larcenous stop. Out front, it's a big score! A goal by Winthrop. And Jackie Bergman will get it on a weird bounce. Naturally, that's the way it had to happen against Colbert. A weird goal, but Winthrop leads 2-1.
Well, they haven't been able to beat him on long shots, and even from the 25 to 30 feet category. The only way you're going to beat Colbert today, it seems, is to get rebounds. The rebound came out. It bounced right off of Jackie Brugman, number 17. He ended up in the net with the puck. A brief protest by the Spy Ponder goaltender, but a purely legitimate goal.
Winthrop back on front, 2-1, the goal coming at 6 minutes and 48 seconds of the second period. Second lead of the game for Winthrop, Jackie Brugman to get the goal. It appeared that Bob Masterson was patrolling the crease there for Winthrop, and the Arlington defender could not get him out of there, and he may have been responsible.
You will remember, however, Arlington led, I should say Matnon led Arlington 2-1, and at the end of the game, it was 9-5 for the Spy Pointers. So you get to watch them. Here's McDonald over the lines. Winthrop seemed to be ignited by that particular effort. Now then the McDonald brothers. Joey off for Bobby. Bobby looking out in front of the net. A shot. Colbert, what a stop again off of Jackie Burke. 4 times in the game.
Tried everything, too.
That time Bobby McDonald hit him with a
Beautiful centering pass. Right on the blade of the stick, he deflected it in midair.
A juggling save by Colbert that time.
Well, so far, I'd have to say the McDonald brothers and Burke have been the better line over the Burns, O'Connor, and Missouri unit, and that has to be the pivotal matchup in the game.
That was, Jackie Brugman, his first goal of the tournament, 4th on the year. It came at 6:48, and Masterson and Goddard were the assist makers. The game is 17 seconds shy of reaching the halfway point.
A false start on the face-off to the left of Mark Colbert and Eddie Burns. He seems a bit anxious right now. Ed normally quite complacent, looking at least on the surface, but he looks concerned right now. Winthrop are on fire. Now then, Plakias in behind the net, surrendered it to DiCaprio. Winthrop are taking the man out at every occasion, however. Ofria returns. A low shot kicked out by Diaz. Crombie lost it. Ofria picks it off a drive, and that one went right through the crease, but Keating couldn't deflect it home. It was too high. Galagli in the corner. Ofria doing some hard work. He's a tireless worker, this Ofria. Back for DiCaprio, kicked it in soccer style. Ofria a turnaround shot. Keating gets it. The puck is rolling aimlessly in behind the net. Lions racing in there with Ofria. There's that man Ofria again. Back to the point, a drive, and Crombie knocked that one wide of the net. Arlington with some heat here. Back to the point, a shot kicked out by Diaz. That's his best stop of the game. Off a low drive from the point by Larry Marquis. Marquis gets it again. The shot wide of the mark.
Winthrop should ice the puck. They're in a lot of trouble.
They certainly are. Arlington with the heat here. Big Keating, he's a good force checker, shoots it in. Eddie Burns wants a line change here, gets the fresh legs out there. They caught Winthrop again. Here's Waverly trying to race in with Cameron and Eichelroth, and it's shot down the length of the ice. However, it will not be icing. DiCaprio is back there in a flash.
That's the best offense the Spy Pointers have shown in the game.
Here's Peter Laverly. A shot in on goal. Cut off there by Goddard. Laverly goes right after him. And Lavery, who has the unusual face mask that he wears on his helmet there, is very distinguishable. But he's been a hustler in the game, as has Cameron. Both of them are printing out on the forward ranks here. Now Eichelroth has it. A shot hit the goal post. Eichelroth hit the goal post. Cameron a drive, it's wide. Arlington all over Winthrop here. A shot deflected wide. McGee gets it, tries to clear it out feverishly. Up for Masterson on his knees. Just shoots it in the corner for Janako. Janako centers it. There's no blue jerseys. They're all tired now. Burke tries to take Eichelroth out. A futile attempt. McGee, Winthrop are very tired now and disorganized. At center ice, Burke tries to race away with it. Can't do it. O'Connor out there. Arlington got the first legs again. O'Connor is shot. And that one is wide. And Winthrop finally iced the puck. Joe Janako ices it down the length of the ice, and icing called against the Vikings. And they're on the run, Lance.
Well, what happened? At 7:47, Winthrop were in complete control of the game, and then they just lost it. And for the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds, they have been holding on.
And the first Arlington goal, Diaz kind of careless in that goal, but he played very, very well on that last attack by Arlington. He stopped several shots that were labeled.
Well, I'll tell you, Winthrop are a tough team, and they never give up. Now Arlington with continual pressure here. A shot from the point by Moran is wide of the target. Now then, O'Connor lost it. Up for Joey O'Connor. Joey McDonald. Joey McDonald coming in on goal. He scores! Joey McDonald. It's 3-1 Winthrop. They come down for the one shot, and they make it count. What a big goal, gentlemen. A big goal.
Joey McDonald coming in on the left wing, and he beat Colbert with a backhand shot, and Colbert really didn't have much of a chance on that shot, Doc.
That's only about the third time in the game that they have got within 10 feet of Colbert. And I think he can be beat from a close range. He is so big, but on those long shots, he might be the best around.
Well, that time Mark Collins missed the check there.
And a little careless again.
Well, Joey McDonald has a knack of shooting from odd positions. He is a complete
Here comes
turnaround.
Winthrop again. Bergman, at the last second, nearly blasted one by Colbert. Plakias in behind the net, ties it up for a face-off. But at any rate, Winthrop leads 3-1.
The 25th goal of the year for Joe McDonald. At 10:15 the time, Brother Bob, Jackie Burke drawing assist is 3-1 with 4:33 remaining. And the way it turned there for about 3 minutes, you thought that Arlington were going to get that tying goal and just take over. But that was a very huge goal in this game.
Arlington have not had a history of playing well when they're behind. Well, we shall see here, however. Keating is out there with Ofria in our goal. Ofria a shot, and Diaz made the save. Ofria nearly put Arlington back in the contest. Bergman back with Plakias for Winthrop. A centering pass. Tate lost it. Ofria out again. Boy, he skates miles in the game. In over the line. Lost it to Crombie. He's a tenacious forechecker, this Ofria as well. Now at center ice, Tate dumps it in delicately on Colbert, and Mark wisely ties it up for a face-off. That's a mock cheer from the Winthrop crowd, but I'll tell you, that is not a deserved mock cheer. Colbert's been immense in the game.
Mark Q was not deserved at all, of course. And from the Arlington side, the game could be either 6-7-1.
They have about 8,000 here for this game, and I really believe if this was in the afternoon, they'd have close to capacity.
By the way, it's not Plakias just got away with a tripping penalty going down the
That's a good point. Winthrop have been very fortunate.
Got it, a shot from the point, and very quickly tied up by Colbert for another
They have
face-off.
not been penalized in the entire game.
Also in the Norwood game, they were quite fortunate. The officiating seemed to go their way, but when you're good, you're lucky.
They seem to be masters at doing the hooking and whatnot and getting away with it. And you've got to credit them for that.
You must have been watching the Russians.
Well, they all could qualify for that Academy Award performance as far as faking out the officials at times.
Well, they just had a 2-minute lapse, but other than that, they've been in complete control. I think we're in agreement on that.
No question about it. They were the better team in the first period. Here they come again. A shot quickly there by Jackie Bergman, who had the second goal up over the dasher and out of play. But Arlington are a team that have had numerous scoring opportunities, and they've squandered them, just like Norwood the other night.
2 goals in the second period, both by Winthrop. It was 1-1 at the end of the first. Bobby McDonald and Brian O'Connor exchanging goals. Now Jackie Brugman and Joey McDonald have given Winthrop the 2-goal margin.
Bobby McDonald back to the point, a drive, and he has been a master at those face-offs against Brian Burns in this game. McDonald, Arlington get it, shoot it down the ice, back forward has got it, and icing called against the Spy Pounders.
Of course, the winner of this game will proceed to the finals on Monday evening. Our broadcast at 8 p.m. on FM 93 on the dial, WBOS, for the benefit of the larger spectrum of listening audience. Of course, this afternoon we will feature Gentleman Braintree in the Bay State League are assured of having a finalist in this year's tournament.
No question about that. An impossibility for anyone else to sneak in there. Got it at the line. Arlington shoot it in, but offside as O'Connor was on his derriere, and he couldn't quite recover. As the ever-popular Winthrop sports editor, Jim Lederman, has threaded his way into the press area. And it should be quite interesting to get some of his comments in between the periods, Lance. I want to talk to him.
Arlington was quite flat after that last Winthrop goal.
Well, they've got to be deflated. They carried the play there. They put such pressure on, they couldn't capitalize. Burke was sent in cleanly by McDonald, but he's not having the best of games for Jackie Burke today. He lost it, and Arlington are offside.
Looked like Burke was going in for the 5th time, but he couldn't negotiate that pass.
He was probably wondering, thinking ahead what he was going to try with Colbert this time. However, he lost the puck.
Except 3 minutes here in midway in the second period, Winthrop has been in control of the game, and they've had many more numerous scoring opportunities than Arlington has. No question about it.
Although, Steve, Arlington have had the opportunities, they have just not made them count at all. They haven't even had shots on goal.
Right, they just squandered them away.
Now, they played 2 minutes and 40 seconds of exceptional hockey, but the goals in between that sandwiched that 2:40 on the clock.
Oh, the killer definitely was registered by Joey McDonald. That really stemmed Arlington's enthusiasm, I'll have to say. Now then, Ofria, he's been Arlington's best player in the game, digging all the time. Bergman gets it, a centering pass.
Well, that's not to discount Colbert, though.
Lions up ahead for David Keating. Keating, he knocked Crombie flying. Crombie put a check on Keating, but Big Keating knocked him flying. And you got to really hit David Keating solidly to knock him down. Now then, Winthrop return. Placius is offside.
1:58 left in the second frame. I'd have to say that Arlington would love to get a goal at this particular point before they head into that last 15 minutes. Winthrop are a third-period club, although I don't know how they'll fare after 6 periods of action just less than 48 hours ago.
Well, the thing is, normally the Arlington crowd are enthusiastic, vociferous. They are mute by comparison today.
Not to belabor the point, amazing. 1:58 to go in the second period. Winthrop has not drawn a penalty.
And they're out shooting Arlington by at least a 2-1 margin.
Well, they've had the benefit of 3 power plays in the game. Although
but they haven't scored.
They haven't, no.
So you can't attribute that to...
But I think that has worn out Missouri and Burns. They've been out there to kill the penalties, and that's got to weigh you out. I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on you when you're killing those penalties. Got it, and you talk about ice time. This guy will log more than his fair share in a game. Dumps it ahead for Masterson. In the center slot to Bergman. Oh, DiCaprio, a dangerous move out in front of his own net. Got away with it that time. Giannaco in the corner. Takes a hit there from Lavery, and they lock skates and tie it up for a face-off. Commencing to the right of the Arlington goaltender, Mark Colbert.
Bill Pulasker has certainly employed his 3 lines very wisely. And the McDonald line has received more of a rest in this game than they did on Thursday night in any one period. And that's because this line of Giannaco, Jackie Brugman, and Bob Maston have performed well, and they have chipped in with a goal.
Chipped in. They scored the second goal. That was a mighty large one. The go-ahead goal here. But the spy ponders, you can never count them out. They're part of the tradition of this Boston Garden, and it is quite an aged one. Now then, DiCaprio off the draw. Spins away out of the center for O'Connor. Brian O'Connor has a goal for Missouri. A shot, and Diaz made a tremendous stop. Missouri thought he had him beat. He's shaking his head. Diaz somehow got the pad out there, and when he's had to been good, he's been good, I'll tell you. Winthrop returns, up it into the Arlington zone. O'Connor races back after it, but he put a beautiful pass on the stick of Missouri. Now here's Missouri again, busting in on goal. It's shot, kicked out by Diaz. What a save as they collide in behind the net there. 3 players down. McGee is hurt. It appears as though McGee is down and in some sort of agony, and the whistle blows on a stoppage in play, forcing the Winthrop bench to open up, and we see Bobby DiGregorio Jr., the assistant coach of this hockey club.
He's the trainer.
Boy, he raced out there so fast, I thought he had blades on. I'll say he was down there in a flash.
Bobby, Missouri had a couple of glittering scoring opportunities, and Diaz robbed them both times, especially the first one where he just came sliding across Missouri, thought he had it in the net. And as a matter of fact, Diaz is coming over to the Winthrop bench now. He's getting quite a hand.
I think Diaz deserves that hand, I'll tell you.
Well, with the exception of the miscalculation on that Arlington Singleton, he's been just fabulous through 2 periods plus 36 seconds.
I wouldn't say fabulous for 2 periods. Let's make that 5 consecutive periods. He was phenomenal against Norwood the other night, 57 shots.
Something wrong with McGee's leg as they flex it up and down there. It is moving, however, and at the joint position, so I don't think he has a break. It might have just locked on him or something. As the Winthrop are not a big club, let's face it, and they get injured quite a bit. Of course, they're a chippy type of club, and they're scrappers. Arlington, getting back to Tony Missouri, he's had just a marvelous season. Scored over 20 goals, 21 to be exact during the regular season. And he was not a goal scorer last year, but you just knew if he got that a little bit extra finesse that he was going to develop. But with all due respect to McChernan and Coito of Norwood and Peabody, respectively, I don't think that in a foot race, the 3 of them, boy, you probably couldn't put a string between them.
No question about it. I'd like to remind you the second period of today's game is brought to you by Heritage Caterers. They're new in the Arlington community, and they're at your center. Of course, the last period that they sponsored for Arlington, they scored 5 goals, not quite this time. 32 seconds to go. A face-off as the puck was gloved ahead there. Will be to the left of Raymond Diaz, the senior netminder for Winthrop. Got it, gets the face-off as Bobby McDonald is unbelievable with those face-offs. Trips up Brian Burns, no call on the play. Joey McDonald sweeps in there. Moves around one player. Arlington pick it up. They move out in front of the net. A shot. And Diaz got a piece of it and it went wide. Brian O'Connor in the corner. Back for DiCaprio, the quick shot. Diaz makes the save, and he holds it right over his head in a mock gesture as Brian Burns was staring him right in the eye.
He just neatly picked that one off and said, I got it, boys.
Raymond Diaz, at this particular point,
Burns is pulling his goaltender now for the last couple of seconds, Lance.
Well,
could be interesting.
highly unlikely that Bobby McDonald, although you never could tell with Bobby, 2 seconds, that would be a yeoman's feat. Off the face-off, Missouri walked in, right off the draw, Tony Missouri, but Diaz made the save, and Arlington's strategy paid off.
Well, I don't know why, but the lights here on a timeout at the end of the period are not working, and that would have been quite controversial. That would have been just a judgment call. The lights never went on. That was right in on goal. The siren, of course, sounded, but you would figure that the period it would end before that horn would really get its full effect out. In any event, we have a 3-1 score, and there'll be the regulation ice cleaning here. in the semifinals for the Division I hockey championship. And this is from the Boston Garden.
This face-off.
Guards in between the second and third period. This is Steve today, along with Lance LaFaro, Darby Yeager, and Steve Mello. At the end of two periods, it's the Winthrop Vikings 3 and the Arlington 500s 1. Here's the way the scoring went in the first period. It was Bobby McDonald opening up for Winthrop, an unassisted goal at 3:37. That was his third of the tournament and his 38th overall of the year. Then it was Brian O'Connor tying it up for Arlington at 1-1, a goal coming at 11:27, and that came from Larry Marquis. That was O'Connor's sixth goal of the tournament and his 12th overall of the year. Two penalties called in the first period. Tony Missouri went off a tripping at the 11:52 mark, and also for Arlington, Steve Cameron went off, and that was at the 14:28 mark for hooking. So at the end of the first period, it was Arlington 1, Winthrop 1, Winthrop out-shooting Arlington 11-7. In the second period, Winthrop broke the tie on a goal by Jackie Brugman. That was Brugman's first of the tournament, his third of the year, assisted by Masterson and Goddard, and that came at 6:48. That put Winthrop ahead 2-1. After that, the next 2 or 3 minutes, Arlington took over, and they threatened to tie the game up, but Ramon Diaz was equal to the task in the Arlington goal, and he kept out Arlington, and then Joey McDonald came back from Winthrop, and he beat goaltender Colter on a backhand shot, his third of the tournament, his 22nd of the year, and Winthrop led 3-1, where it stands now at the end of 2 periods. On that Joey McDonald goal, he was assisted by his line mates, brother Bobby McDonald and Jackie Burke, and that came at 10:15. Just one penalty in the second period, that coming to Arlington. Billy Lyons going off at 1:41 for splashing. Arlington in the second period, out-shooting, Winthrop out-shooting Arlington in the second period, 13-10. The 2 period total for Winthrop 24 and for Arlington 17. So at the end of 2 periods, it is Winthrop 3 and Arlington 1. And we'll be back with a guest and more as Hockey Night continues for the Boston Garden. Steve Mello, and our in-between period guest, Kevin Annick, the schoolboy sports writer for the Boston Herald. Kevin, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Steve. Good to be here.
Kevin, your impressions on the first 2 periods of the game?
First 2 periods, just about, without exception, all Winthrop. They've been dominating the play. They've been forcing the play in the Arlington end. Arlington is just having no success at all with their forechecking. Winthrop gets the puck in their own end, gets it right up the board to the forward, and goes straight down to the Arlington end. And down to that end, they pass the puck so well. If you let them get in there, you're going to cause a lot of trouble.
What do you think about Diaz's nonchalant attitude and goal for Winthrop? He seems to be just taking everything so casually and very coolly.
It works for him. Some people have to get all psyched up and nerved up and be tense to play at their best. Diaz seems to be one of these loosey-goosey, happy-go-lucky types.
A showman type.
Yeah, it's not so much a showman. I think it's just a very casual type of goal. He doesn't let things bother him. And for him, it works well. He doesn't get sloppy when he's casual. A lot of people, if they get a little bit too nonchalant, they make mental errors. But he doesn't seem to. Well, he hasn't so far.
In a tough pressure-packed tournament game like this, I guess it's very good to go in with a cool, calm attitude. Steve, your impression on the first 2 periods of today's game?
Well, what can you say? The first goal by Bob McDonald was a goal that he really developed himself. It was just an outstanding play. And Winthrop really controlled the first period, although it wound up a 1-1 tie after 1 period of play. Winthrop looked to be the better puck for the majority of the first period of play. Then in the second period, what more can you say about Mark Holbert? He was truly outstanding. It's the only way you can talk about his performance. He came up with 3 big stops, and I mean, really great saves. He also had a lot of good saves, and it was him who kept Arlington in the game. Then finally, on that goal by Brugman, perseverance, I guess, paid off. Winthrop had a lot of better opportunities for scoring goals, but Brugman was right in the right place at the right time in front of the net. That made it 2-1. Then Arlington came down and had some good scoring opportunities. They did not score, and there's nothing you say. Joe McDonald came back, perfectly played shot, and did not fall forward on it. And they're shooting by 2 goals. And Arlington must come up with a quick goal, I'd say, in the beginning of the third period to get back in this game.
Kevin, did you go out on a limb and pick a winner in this game beforehand?
No, but I've been actually very surprised at Winthrop's play so far. I didn't think they were as strong as they've shown to be. And of all the tournament draws, seeding, They were seeded number 1, but I think they got the toughest draw of any team in the tournament. They had to go by MC, and then Norwood, and now Arlington. If they get by this, then they get to win the Dedham Rangers. They didn't have any easy walk into the finals.
All right, Winthrop leading 3-1 at the end of 2 periods, and we'll be back with more as Hockey Night continues on the Boston Garden. Kevin Mannix, the schoolboy sports writer for the Boston Herald American, and Winthrop leading Arlington by a score of 3-1 at the end of 2 periods. And Kevin, what does Arlington have to do to try to get back into the game? They only have 15 minutes left.
They've got to find out some way of stopping Winthrop from breaking out of there, but Winthrop's going as easily as they have so far. Winthrop really hasn't been affected the slightest bit by Arlington's forechecking because they're looking for the open man. They've got a couple of pretty good defensemen that don't just take it and flip the puck around. They look around and look. If the opening up the middle, they go up the middle to the center. If Arlington jams the middle as they did with the last half of the second period, then Winthrop is breaking off the wing. And Arlington's got to figure out some way of keeping them hemmed in their own zone better than they have so far.
Arlington's defense is a little skills in their own zone on their breakout passes.
Yeah, that's been the trouble. They have not played a very sharp game, but I think you have to credit Winthrop a lot for that because their forwards are really helping. They're really showing me a lot in this tournament, the way they're playing under pressure.
Were you kind of surprised the way Winthrop came out today after the unbelievable three overtime win against Norwood the other night? I figured they might be a little drained.
Yeah, you do, but then when you figure that who they're playing, you know, if Winthrop had come in after playing Norwood and had played somebody in, I don't know what, Target or somebody like that, I'm not sure where they've already beaten them, they could have been flat, but you always get up for Arlington in a tournament game.
Are you kind of surprised Winthrop's playing the tournament because you don't regard the Northeast Conference as strong as the other conferences?
Well, I think it's pretty well unanimous. Go with the last will agree with this, is that it was not the best of years for the Northeast Conference. But by the same token, even if it has been a very strong year, and the Northeast Conference has the best talent to stay in the Bay State League, the Winthrop would have been a good competitive team and probably would have won the league. This year, I don't think there's any question the Bay State League was the strongest league in the state.
They had 3 representatives, and up until Thursday night, all 3 representatives were still alive.
Except for the third overtime period, you have 3 teams in that league in the semifinals.
What was your impression of that game?
That was a great game to watch. It really was. The only trouble was so late getting over. You get to be a little bit drained when you hear it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then you get down to 12:30 at night, you're waiting for someone to have the game. And both teams played very well. Norwood had some awfully good opportunities in the first 2 overtimes. But at the end, it was Winthrop's ability to score and the pressure to counter.
Did you think that Norwood had a territorial edge in that game against Winthrop?
A little bit, but I don't think it was really anything substantial.
How about your overall impression of the entire tournament thus far?
So far, it's been very good. The tournament committee did a great job scouting the team. But they had the seeding, the Winthrop won and Dedham 2. And in Division 2, they had Billerica 1 and Kansas 2. And you could have thought that they could have the finals could be the top 2 teams in each division.
How do you think a team like Billerica in Division 2 would do against one of these top teams?
Very, very well. In fact, a lot of the college coaches, in fact, the great majority of the college coaches that have seen all of the teams, say 2 or 3 times each, say that Billerica would probably be a favorite in Division 1, even if it were in Division 1.
As a top seed in Division 1?
Could very well have been the top.
That would be very interesting to watch. Kevin Mannix, thank you very much for being my in-between guest on the second and third period. We'll return as Hockey Night continues from the Boston Garden.
For the finest delicatessen favorites, it's Boyle's Family Market at 475 Summer Street in Arlington. Boyle's features a wide assortment of imported and domestic cold cuts.
All that separates Winthrop High School from entering the Division 1 finals on Monday night. Of course, the Arlington Spy Plunders will unlikely have something to say about that during the last period. Ed Burns, he's been in this tournament so many times. People have lost count. They've won the whole thing on 6 occasions. and 8 titles. Excuse me. Been in the finals 11 times and 26 tournament appearances. Those are the statistics. He gathers the Trojans over by the bench. The next goal in this game, in my opinion, will be the most crucial one in the game.
Lance, Arlington's going to have to go all out. They have to play wide open hockey, and they have to try to get back in the game. Like you say, the next goal, very, very important. If Arlington gets the next goal, they're right back in the game. If Winthrop scores the next goal, Arlington's 3 goals down and almost an impossible task to come back.
And let us not forget, gentlemen, that great save by Ramon Diaz, the closing seconds. If that one went in, I'll tell you, the momentum would be on the other side.
Well, he could be your all-tournament goaltender, fellas.
No question about it. He's got to have serious consideration. Full strength on both sides of the ice. Winthrop to our right, Arlington left to right in this third stanza. Tony, Missouri, Brian Burns, Brian O'Connor against Bobby and Joe McDonald and Jackie Burke. Off the face-off, Arlington quick to the attack. They lost it, however. Joey McDonald with DiCaprio, a pair of 10s going for it. DiCaprio wins the race, turns around and gets it to Tony, Missouri. Missouri leaves an Arlington 3-man rush to center. Drop pass by Brian O'Connor, picked off by Joey McDonald, who has been patrolling his wing and doing that good back-checking effort throughout the game. At center ice, Brian Burns with Joey McDonald, and Joey McDonald is just a real plugger right along those boards. However, Arlington finally get it over the line. They're closing. Brian O'Connor shot it wide of the net. Winthrop McGee gobbles it up. Good to see him back, and good for him after that heavy jolt he took in the second period. DiCaprio at the Arlington line sends it up for Missouri, about 20 feet ahead of him. And both teams are playing it very cautious here. Close checking in the opening minutes of period 3. Winthrop lead it 3-1, and if they win, they advance into the finals Monday evening. And that's quite a surprise to many people. Now Jackie Burke has a full head of steam at center, lost it to Brian Burns. Over to Billy Lyons, a shot, and that one was wide of the net, but the play was offside anyway.
The noise deafening here, Darby. The enthusiasm just way very hard to hear the whistle.
The goal scorers, the McDonald brothers, have one apiece. Jackie Brugman, the third. Brian O'Connor, the lone tally for the Spy Ponders, and they've played 1 minute and 25 seconds of the third period.
In front of approximately 8,000 in this morning matinee. Off the face-off, Winthrop. Tate won the draw in his own zone to Glogly. Over for Danny Bergman. He lost it to Keating. Keating in behind the net in hot pursuit of Placius. Arlington do keep it in. Billy Lyons threading his way on the backhand. Lost it there. And a puck squirts loose to center ice. Arlington dump it in again and race in to tie up the Vikings. Lyons and Ofria right after Crombie. Two players collide and the puck comes loose to Danny Bergman. Danny Bergman at center ice, slices it off the boards delicately in behind the Arlington goal. Now then Moran has it, reverses direction, slides it over for Lyons. Billy Lyons in the middle to Ofria. Ofria all by himself on the backhand over the crossbar, up on the net mesh area, and they tie it up for a face-off.
This game is coming to you from the Boston Garden.
Did you know that the Pant Shop in Lynn is the store that is considered the style center on the North Shore? Jack and Eli and their staff of style coordinating experts.
Winthrop 3, Arlington 1. There are 12 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the game. This third period is being brought to you in part by Boyle's Family Market of Arlington. Great submarine sandwiches, cold cuts, a great delicatessen. Boyle's Family Market, Arlington. But his team, that's Jackie Boyle, great fan of the Spy Ponders, and I'm sure he's hoping for a resurgence here of the Trojans. Now at center, McGee for Winthrop. Oh, a rolling shot nearly went by Colbert. Caught him flat-footed in the crease. Lavery ahead to Brian Burns. At center ice. It's picked off by Joey Giannaco for the Vikings. He brings it in offside.
You know, our statistician Mike Murphy made the comment to me a few minutes ago that Winthrop seem to know where each other are at every given occasion. If there's a breakaway, there's always a defenseman just somehow gets back there or someone's covering up. There was a good instance. Goddard went in there to hold the puck. He was beaten to it. They shot at the center, and Bobby McDonald just happened to come out off the bench.
Well, it's of my opinion that
Pulaski does a marvelous job.
about 6 of these players live within a football throw from each other, and they've been playing together for about 8 or 9 years, and it looks it, especially Goddard and the McDonald boys. They've got to live within play for the same team over the years, no question about it. They just know where they're going, and Burke, you could put him right in there as well. Now McDonald out in front of his own net, and Winthrop do that with an uncanny frequency and somehow get away with it all the time. They shoot it down the length of the ice. Burke back there bumps Morin, sliding it out in front of the net. Collins picks it off. Ahead for O'Connor, the Brian Burns. Arlington need a break here. Missouri, he had to go off his skates, and he had an open corner to shoot it at. McGee gets it for the Vikings and shoots it out the center ice. Keith Moran keeps it in the neutral zone and just banks it off the board. McGee back for it for the Vikings. He starts out looking for Bobby McDonald. Ofria knocked him off his pins. Billy Lyons in for Ofria. Lyons, he nearly threaded his way out in front of the net. They ride him off the play, but Lyons came dangerously close. Keating out at center ice. A long wrist shot. Just dumps it into the corner. Got it on it quickly. Winthrop coughed the puck up again. Lyons tried to send Keating through. And Bobby McDonald comes away with the disc. Over the line. Coming in on goal. And Colbert makes the save. He tried to pull a dipsy doodle around the Arlington defense, but he was knocked off and forcing a face-off.
From the Boston Garden, this is the Eastern Mass Hockey Tournament.
For the finest delicatessen favorites, Boyle's Family Market.
45 seconds ago, they pinned it in behind the Winthrop net. Galogly locked skates with big Paul Eichelroth, and they force a face-off to the right of Raymond Diaz. And Lance, what more can you say about Raymond Diaz?
He has been just fascinating, Debbie. Steve, what can we look forward to on your wrap-up show after this game with Steve Memolo?
A very close, in-depth look at what happened today, and also a look at the Braintree-Dedham game this afternoon.
Very good, Steve. Out at center ice, Winthrop is certainly content to play that good, close-checking game. Giannaco brings it in, but no longer do the Vikings send the 2 men in deep. They're bringing 2 wings back to pick up those Arlington players. The 5-pounders are going to have to get a break here if they're going to bust through this Winthrop defense. Now then, that's Cameron. Lost it to Goddard. Goddard twisting and turning. The co-captain. A long shot wide of Colbert. Mark steers it in the corner for Stevie Cameron, who promptly hands it over there now to Larry Marquis. And Arlington changing the fly as they dump it down into the Winthrop end. And that's the pace here that Arlington, they just haven't been able to penetrate out in front of the Winthrop goal. Now got it with a rush. Goes in very deep, but there are always Winthrop players everywhere to cover up for the rushing defenseman. Now Brian O'Connor to Brian Burns in the slot. Burke back there does a good job of back checking and takes the puck away to Joey McDonald. Joey lost it, and Arlington are trying desperately here to get something going. Brian Burns with Jack Burke. Burke comes away with it. 3-on-2. Winthrop over the line. Offside. Bobby McDonald.
The best scoring opportunity of the period, I would say, would be when Arlington came in and Missouri just missed a pass off his skate, and he had an open there in the right-hand corner, and the puck just went off his skate, or else he could have made it 3-2. but Winthrop playing very, very close, checking, and they're lining up the blue line and not letting Arlington penetrate the zone.
Notice how they change on the fly, too, in the third period. They're just changing one person at a time, so they can't get caught, except when there's a timeout. So Palaska has the game in control from the bench, I'd say.
No question about it, Lance. Arlington's going to need a break of some sort. The weird bounce, I think. Winthrop are just...
Or the first Winthrop penalty, which may never come.
McGee keeps it in at the point. A long shot there. Dave Keating took a bump from Bergman. Quite a disparity in height and weight, but Bergman always positions himself well and never seems to be knocked down on any play. Out at center ice, McGee, and Winthrop again just blasted it, this time offside.
Winthrop just keeping two men back all the time, and very hard for Arlington to penetrate the zone.
The goal scorers, Bobby McDonald and Brian O'Connor for Arlington in the first period. It was 1-1. Jackie Brugman and Joe McDonald scoring goals about 3.5 minutes apart in period 2, and that's the way it stands. It's been really a low-scoring game. I think you can credit that to the netminders.
And this Winthrop hockey team, if you have not had an opportunity to see them, especially if you're up in the North Shore, you've missed something this year. They are just amazing how they pass. They're the best passing team that you will see in many a year in high school hockey. They just win or lose in this game. They're just amazing. Now then, Crombie has it in his own zone. Headmans it in the middle to Jackie Bergman. He lost control of it. Arlington just dump it in again. They have given up trying to carry it in over the line. That's blue jerseys everywhere, Winthrop's colors. Now they shoot it down the length of the ice. No icing. Markey is back there. Tries to get it up for Eichelroth. Here come Winthrop. Coming in on goal, Tanako. A backhander knocked down by Markey. Cameron and Eichelroth.
Arlington takes much too long to get started. They had a 3-on-2 break there, and it didn't even get anywhere.
They are in deep trouble in this game. 6 minutes and 50 seconds left. And all that great of 26 years of Arlington tradition could be ending here unless they show some sort of a resurgence. Now a backhander there. Winthrop quite content to just dump it in and go in and tie up the Arlington club. Brian O'Connor into Brian Burns to Missouri. The pass was behind him, and it was offside.
This game is coming to you from the Boston Garden.
If you need help with automobile insurance for $19.
Oh, Brian Burns came right in on Diaz. A rolling puck. He just blasted away at it, and it didn't miss by an inch and a half from going in, but it was wide. Icing called against Winthrop.
And Brian was unable to get really sufficient wood on it to have any kind of accuracy. With 6:01 remaining, Billerica High School have just arrived for their game. And they're a handsome outfit, Darby. They're sitting down behind Raymond Diaz, and many of them have three-piece suits on. They are the defending Division II champions in the state of Massachusetts, and many believe that they could more than hold their own with any team in Division I.
Last I asked Kevin Mannix during the second and third period, and he was in total agreement that they could play with anybody in Division I.
I'd like to see the East play the West, but have the Division I and Division II teams involved so that you could possibly have a Division I, Division II final.
That would be interesting. Now here's Winthrop breaking out. Bergman for Plakias. Oh, he was in alone and he lost it at the last second. Arlington comes flowing back. Eichelroth with Keating. They dump it in over the line. They go after it. Crombie on it first, and they dump it out the center. This Winthrop team are playing marvelous positional hockey right now.
Especially the defense there.
Now Crombie falls down. Eichelroth races in behind the net, but there are Winthrop players everywhere. They shoot it off the board.
Excellent, and Crombie's played one of the best games I've seen him play.
No question about it. Winthrop bring it out once again. They just shoot it down into the corner. Markey back there, lost it this time. The McDonald line are out there against Brian Burns, and he's been on the ice almost the whole third period. Here's Burns out in front of the net. Oh, kicked out by Diaz.
He didn't even see it. He made the stop. A breakaway for Bobby McDonald. Markey back. Markey makes a defense. They score! Markey saw McDonald. He somehow got it, and he scores. He's going wild. It's 4-1. Markey made a great defensive play, and somehow McDonald got it in.
Alaska, he's got both hands raised in the air in victory salute.
That should do it. Robert McDonald. What a player.
I'll tell you something. We've got a lot of annual awards coming up, and I'm sorry, folks, but the votes are coming in, and a lot of Winthrop players are going to receive some silverware this year. And if you don't believe so, why don't you come out Monday night and see this team play? They're unreal.
4-18 separate them from the finals, and they have a 3-goal lead. Every time Arlington has any sort of a chance, Winthrop come back and burn them.
Now we got a penalty coming up on Winthrop. We finally got a penalty coming up on.
And that was a poor time to take one on the part of Placius. But Winthrop are the type of team, when they get excited, they get too rambunctious. And Velasco is very perturbed at that. I'm sure he'll go right over to the penalty box. Look at him. He gave him the thumb. Now he waves them off. And Placius just smiles. I think the game is well in hand, but Velasco knows better. If Arlington could pop one here, they wouldn't be dead.
Oh, no, no question about it. The Spy Pounders, whenever you're talking about their chances in a tournament game, there's 4 minutes to go, but they need 3 goals to tie. And that's going to be a large task. Danny Bergman out there to kill a penalty. This Danny Bergman does everything, I'll tell you. Winthrop are much more than a one-line team, and you've got to come out to see them play.
That proved that in the tournament.
No question
They're
about
a
it.
solid unit.
Ofria back with Missouri. Back to Ofria. He's in the slot, but he lost it. Knocked down on the play, and Bergman is there to shoot it down the ice. He's everywhere. Danny Bergman. Brian Burns back for it. Looking up to Missouri. They've got to pop a quick one here for Arlington to stand any chance of coming back. Ofria got an intercept off the back of Tate, and he's been hit 3 times in the dexterous section in this game.
Arlington very ineffective on this power play thus far.
Well, Brian Burns sends away O'Connor. Ofria is the trailer. Ofria's going to get a shot. Oh, he shot it wide. DiCaprio races in. Up for O'Connor. Got it, is there. Got it. Moves around. Missouri.
Play.
Shoots it down the ice, and I'll tell you, this Steve Goddard. You tell me a better defenseman, and I'm going to challenge Kevin Mannix, who was on here. He didn't have any All-Scholastic team, but I'll tell you, I bet he'd like a second chance on picking that team.
Arlington's getting like a beaten team now.
That penalty's over as well.
Placius has stepped onto the ice. There's Brian O'Connor over the line. Arlington never give up. They've got the tradition. They come in, trying to tie McGee up. Missouri. Oh, he took a run. Right,
That'll be a penalty here.
There'll be a call against Arlington. Tony
Missouri.
Missouri going off.
Well, Tony Missouri, 2 minutes and 19 seconds away from ending his high school career. He'll be an outstanding college player. He was the player of the week back there in late January. And he's not smiling now, but you want me to better pleasant disposition type of fella.
There's no question. He's a fine young man.
Tim Lederman has just showed up from Winthrop, the Sun Transcript. He has his victory cigar ready to get lit.
We finally put ourselves on the map.
And the basketball team will try it this afternoon. I'll tell you, this Winthrop, I don't know how they do it. They haven't got the population, but they certainly do. They've got the desire, and they're tough. Boy, are they tough. Got it. Runs right into Brian Burns at the blue line. 2 minutes and 4 seconds left to go, and Winthrop have the man advantage. I'm sure they'll be content here just to be very cautious, and they've got the 3-goal lead. Joey McDonald comes in over the line, tried to drop it back to Bobby, who has played a game that parallels greatness. Brian O'Connor got it, gives him a jolt. Got it, never gets tired. He must have his Wheaties twice a day, I'll tell you. Jackie Burke tries to thread his way in over the line, up for Ofria. But Danny Bergman needs another one. I don't know where they get the stamina. Now the Winthrop fans here are starting to sing in the background. Bobby McDonald closing a shot. Coleman makes the save. Oh!
Eichelroth came out of nowhere. The puck was going in the net.
What a play by Eichelroth. As Colbert was down and out, and he swept in behind the goaltender and saved another sure goal. Jackie Burke back for Winthrop. In over the line. There's a minute to go in the game, and the Winthrop Vikings will proceed into the finals of the Eastern Mass Tournament.
Diaz has made one stop in the third period for Winthrop, Darby.
And who would have figured it? This Winthrop team didn't get home till 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning, had to go to school yesterday. Don't ask me how they did it. Billy Falasker, he's beside himself. Bobby McDonald tiptoes in around the defense. There's 30 seconds left of the game. Arlington had a great season. They've got nothing to be ashamed of. But it's late now. Missouri in for a shot that was wide. Brian Burns, they never give up. They try to work it in again. Great tradition in the Arlington side, and they have played their hearts out here today, just not to be. Winthrop seems to be a team of destiny.
Here's the countdown.
It's all over. Winthrop have defeated Arlington. Last year they were beaten 7-3 in a preliminary round game, and they have atoned for that loss and also the snubbing they felt in some of the major media earlier in the year. Final score, Winthrop 4, Arlington 1.
We'll return with a summary as hockey night continues.
For the finest
Division 1 contest. Steve.
Lance, final score once again, Winthrop defeating Arlington 4-1. The scoring in the third period, there was just one goal in the third period, and that came by Bobby McDonald, assisted by Joey McDonald at 10:42. It was Bobby's 39th goal of the year, his 4th of the tournament. There was 2 penalties in the third period. Paul Blockius went off at 10:54 for charging, and Tony Missouri went off for Arlington at 12:41 for a cross-check. The shots on goal in the third period, Winthrop out-shooting Arlington in the third period 10-1. Arlington only had one shot on goal in the third period. Winthrop out-shooting Arlington for the game 34-18. And we'll be back with more as Hockey Night continues from the Boston Garden. Well, Winthrop has advanced to the finals on Monday night by defeating Arlington by a score of 4-1. Now with the 3 stars, here's Darby along with Jim Liederman of the Winthrop Transcript.
Well, Jim, the 3 stars of the game. First of all, I should congratulate you. I'm sure you're one of the great fans in Winthrop, and you've got to be tickled.
Yes, I lived there all my life, and this is certainly our greatest moment in sports right now. We put ourselves on the map. We've only been in hockey for 12 years. Arlington has a tradition, 25 years in the Garden, and here we are. We're going to win it all.
I remember when I first did a Winthrop broadcast 3 years ago, and Billy Falaska told me someday I'd just like to play Arlington, just to play them. I don't even care if I win.
Billy works in Arlington. He works at the rink, and a good friend of Eddie Burns, as all the coaches are in the state. And Billy wanted to this one deep down inside. The kids worked extremely hard. We've got great kids, great desire, and a big tradition right now to live up to.
Okay, Bobby McDonald is the #1 star of the game. You going to argue with me?
No, I certainly can't take that away from me. He was flying all night, Darby. He deserved that last goal. He's worked hard all year. He came into the Garden. He wanted to prove something to himself. And believe me, he skated circles around those Arlington players.
Well, I wouldn't say circles, but certainly he was flying in the game. Brian Crombie, the #2 star of the game. Certainly he and Goddard were unbelievable on defense, as was the entire defensive corps.
A very unsung defense corps. Stephen Goddard, co-captain. Brian Crombie, another senior. Billy Galogli, a great game. And how about Kevin McGee, big number 19? They played tremendous.
Okay, the number 2 star, Brian Crombie on the defense, and the number 3 star, a player which many people have never heard of before this tournament, Danny Bergman. But I'll tell you something, if you're a college scout, that's a guy you could inject in there. He's a Bobby Clark style player. He's not big Jim, but boy, what heart. And what stamina.
Great stamina, perpetual motion all night long, had more ice time than anyone, kills penalties, works hard on that second line, and does a fantastic job. Got clutch goals all year, very underrated, but the kids think he's the MVP of the team.
Okay, now on the Arlington side of the ledger, there were a few players I felt worthy of mention in this contest. In particular, Mark Colbert, their goalie, he kept them in the game early. It was still a contest despite the fact Winthrop were laying pressure on them right from the start.
Certainly, he came up with some big saves. We had a wide advantage on penalties. I believe it was 4-1. The power play wasn't clicking. Colbert turned in a fine job in the net. But the difference, as well as Colbert played, Dayaz didn't make that many saves, but they were all big ones.
Okay, Jim, well, I know you want to run down to the dressing room now. Congratulations. We'll see you Monday night. That sounds good for you, I'm sure.
It sure does, Bobby. A great show, the greatest sports show on earth. I'll look forward to being here Monday night. Keep the great job up.
Thanks a lot. I'm sure there are many out there that would disagree with that comment. However, we shall return for post-game commentary as Hockey Night continues. Hockey morning, I should say, from the Boston Garden.
For the finest in men's formal.
I'm Stephen Mimolo. And I'm Brigham. The Hockey Night wrap-up now. Actually, of course, it's not during the night. We've been saying over and over again. Games just completed. Hockey morning wrap-up. Winthrop 4-1 victors over Arlington. Arlington had knocked off Matignon 9-5. And the two finalists last year, Matignon and Archbishop Williams, of course, both have been eliminated. And Arlington will go on and face, Winthrop will go on, rather, and face the winner of the Braintree-Dedham game coming up for you at 2 o'clock, starting time of that one. But one thing, Steve, I would like to say, although I was watching very closely Coach Burns of the Arlington squad, and I've never seen a coach on a high school level act so graciously in victory as in defeat. Although his team was going down to a defeat, they were down 3-1. He did not yell at his players. It's not that they don't like their players. It's just that they get so emotionally caught up trying to catch up in the game, and they start screaming and yelling. And Ed Burns remained very cool. I know he was very disappointed. You could see it in his face. But even after they had lost, he came out very graciously on the ice, and I think he showed a lot of class.
Yes, well, he knows that his players felt bad enough as it was by losing the game 2-1 to 4-1, and he didn't want to add to it. Of course, he was very gracious, as you mentioned, shaking hands with Billy Palaska and the whole Winthrop team.
Of course, I remember back in high school 2 years back, anytime I've seen any tournament games, I've never seen a high school coach react with as much class as Ed Burns showed today. Usually, they scream and yell, and then at the end, they accept defeat graciously as they can until they get off the ice or off the floor, as it is in basketball. But he showed a lot of class. Anyway, Winthrop, very impressive once again, Steve. This is a team to be reckoned with.
Oh, there's only one more team that can reckon with them. That's going to either be Dedham or Braintree on Monday night.
And, of course, on to the finals of the state.
Right, if they can get by Dedham on Monday night, onto the state finals the following Monday evening. And we'll be back with more as Hockey Night Wrap-Up continues from the Boston Garden. 13:30 a.m. in Waltham. Back here at the Boston Garden, where Winthrop has advanced to the finals. They will play the winner of the Dedham-Braintree game, the winner of this afternoon's Dedham-Braintree game, Winthrop defeating Arlington by a score of 4-1.
Oh, Winthrop's been in, they've scored 4 goals in all of their 3 games. They have 2 more games to go to win the state finals. They knocked off NC 4-2, 4-3 game with Norwood, a triple overtime game. That was a classic battle between the 2 fine clubs. And now 4-1 winners over Arlington. Arlington coming off that 9-5 victory over Matignon, and gee, the Birds line, filet of Matignon, we spilled that a little bit. One thing, we have the respective senators of Arlington and the respective senator of Winthrop. And Senator John Bullock, the representing Arlington, had a
little wager on that game.
He had a friendly wager, a dinner bet with Senator Michael Lopresti Jr., who represents East Boston, the North End, Cambridge, Charlestown, and also Winthrop, naturally. And it looks as if Senator Lopresti of Winthrop has won himself a dinner by way of this victory.
Doesn't look. He definitely has.
He has. We'll have to make sure that Senator Bullock comes through.
Or else they'll send somebody now from East Boston.
That's right. That's come down and make him an offer, you know. Anyway, what can you say about McDonald, that final goal of the game? It seemed as if Arlington, two different occasions, when they were really applying the pressure for a change and coming up just short-handed of the goal, and then Winthrop came right down the ice, and they picked up a quick goal. This happened in the second and finally in the third period when Arlington was pressing, and Bobby McDonald made a super play. That was an Orsight play. He just cut in over the line and
Gorgeous peak, yeah.
Incredible. Another fascinating thing about Bobby McDonald is how quick he moves laterally on skates. You could see a guy in basketball like Nate the Skate Archibald or something moving quick laterally. But McDonald comes right in, makes his peak, and then he just quickly busts right through. He moves laterally. He does that at least 3 or 4 times a game.
Well, see, what I was most impressed about with the Winthrop team was, of course, they have been known throughout the entire year for their awesome offense, power play, and everything like that. Going into the third period, they led 3-1, and it was obvious that Coach Palasta went to the defensive route during the second and third period in the dressing room. He obviously told his boys, listen, let's line up the blue line, let's get some real fierce forechecking in, make sure they don't penetrate the zone.
It's incredible, and the Winthrop did play an outstanding defensive game. Winthrop's the type of club, I get the impression that they are very hard to come back from behind against. Against Norwood, they were losing.
They're hardly ever behind.
That's true, but especially when you have a guy like Diaz in the net, who was really coming up with the super stops and the tremendous pressure, and it's almost impossible to come back for them, as some of the other Hockey Night crew remarked earlier over here down on the bench in the booth.
Yes.
During the course of the game, that Winthrop, if they receive hot goaltending, they are unbeatable because the offense, they average better than 7 goals a game. And what more can you say about Winthrop? They're really putting it all together.
Well, they haven't lost the game all year. And whoever wins this afternoon's Dedham Braintree game is going to have their hands full Monday night against Winthrop. But the loser will have nothing to be ashamed of either. But that Bay State League is tough. Dedham Braintree Norwood, they'll be a formidable representative no matter which team wins this afternoon. That should be a tremendous game. And so if you can come out Monday night and see that game here at the Boston Garden, it'll be 8 o'clock, Winthrop versus the winner of this afternoon's Dedham Braintree game. And we'll be carrying that game right there on WATT, starting time at 2:30. And Steve Memolo will be on with his pregame show at 2 o'clock. And we'll return with more on Hockey Night Wrap-Up after these messages.
Paulson wide to the left side and Godbolt wide to the right. Don Peters at the buzzer, and it hits. It is good. Springer hits the ball at the buzzer, and it's good. 26-22, but this thing no good? Oh, here it is. Okay, they put it up on the scoreboard, 28-22. So after one half of action here at Beverly Fieldhouse, we've got a